Now, it's a new day, it's a new life. I don't know what it's called, but or how it's sang, but it's a new day. My ear is kind of blocked off. Woke up with a blocked ear, which is kind of annoying, but I'll survive. I'll manage. That's a fair amount, no? Yeah. Oof. This, I don't know what you call it, but it's basically if you had a granola bar, just, you know, the oatmeal and all that stuff. Yeah. So, I'm gonna have this with a banana and protein yogurt. 40 grams of protein. This is 400 grams of just yogurt in general. And this will be a third of my main meals. So I will have 6 eggs later, and then also 200 grams of cut up chicken thighs. No, fillet, chicken fillet. I don't know what it calls. But 200 grams of chicken as well. Maybe a bag of rice as well, and then I think we are good for the rest of the day. But you know, I was talking about, you know, not getting too big, right? Because again, become an issue, let's say with acting, it's kind of difficult to have, let's say if I'm going to just be an extra or have a small role, just being very huge can be sort of a bit more attention giving. It's sort of like, yeah, it isn't necessarily what the, you know, the director or the people want, right? They want a more of a, how do I say this, like a normal person, you know? Not everybody is this big, right? And I just listened to one of the podcasts where one of the casting director of the Blue Shirt movie, where I was in as an extra, right? Where that can pose. Wait, okay, she basically talked about, you know, issues being that some people aren't, you know, that small or that big that they actually say they are. And I remember that, you know, that thing may not even be, you know, aimed at me, it may be aimed at someone else. But give me 2 seconds here, I need to yeah, it may not even be aimed at me, but I kind of get the point when talking about that it can sort of be an issue for me, even though it necessarily wasn't aimed, because it was talking about, you know, clothes and uniforms didn't fit right, and I remember my uniform didn't fit perfectly right. It was very very tight, and I think I did mention that I did train a lot, but it isn't always that kind of obvious or easy to see how big a person really is on like photos, or like photos that they want to see, right? Like the portraits or whatever it's called, selfie, and a whole body sort of picture, and that doesn't necessarily view let's say the whole body, how big it is, you know, in the perspective of the camera. Yeah, but you know, what can you do? And that's why it can become an issue, right? Because I do realize that I'm not tiny. I am quite big. Yeah, and maybe it can be an issue, maybe it can be a good thing, but I have talked with a bunch of people that say that it can be an issue. So I'm quite happy where I'm currently at, in size. I know that when I did film Bleacher, I was an extra role, or had a more like we were 10 people, and the focus was on us, 2 shooting days, just us. But we didn't, get just that big of a sort of role in the movie. We were the soldiers on the Bleacher boat when it was sank down and when it was shot at and stuff. But back to the thing, like, what was I saying? Oh no. I'm going to rewatch this and I'm going to be like, oh my god, you were supposed to talk about that. But going back to Bleacher. Yeah, going back to the Bleacher, I was maybe about the same size I am now, maybe a bit bigger, not quite sure, maybe a bit smaller actually, because I have gained size, throughout the year and such. And I think in winter I was the heaviest I've ever been. I think I was 90 kg. That was, winter from 2024 to 2025. I was really heavy then. No, I don't think I was too big on the Bleacher, but I was still big, right? It was still, I had large clothes on and it didn't almost fit, right? So it can be a problem, right? And there has been one audition where the sort of role was to be a tough sort of guy that may have been actually good, that I was big. Not sure how big though, right? Can be an issue. So it's just like, I'm just sort of thinking how much further I have to, or further I will go, because as well as I want to do acting, I really love training, and I train very hard, very tough, and with that comes a lot of eating, right? I don't eat as crazy as I did before, which is a good thing. I am about 85 kg right now. And before I was 90, 89 kg, which is 5 kg more, but I still eat a lot. And with that and good training, I become bigger. And it's sort of like the addiction of, hitting an extra rep or 1 rep more than you did last time. And let's say I did 95 kg on the incline bench today. I did 6 reps, and I haven't done that in a very long time, and I just felt amazing doing that, and you just want to do it the next time, right? It just becomes very addictive. That is one of the reasons why people take steroids, is to lift heavy things, right? I'm not going to do that, but but also becoming a bit ripped may be good, because it's also appealing, having a good body. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that other bodies are not appealing, that's not true, but let's say superheroes, or let's say the guy in the romance movie, right, or the drama movie, having a good type, or fit body, right? Sometimes that may be appealing and stuff, but it doesn't always need to be like that. But you get my point, right? And I don't necessarily want to be too big. I have a very wide, and not bodybuilding, but I have a very big physique, in that I have a big back, I have big shoulders, I have huge arms, Now I'm just gassing myself up really, but I try to say like I do have a good and big physique, from training for 4 years maybe, very extremely, eating a shit ton of food, and like, yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma, right? Should I should I slow down? Should I What should I do, right? What is it good? I'm a big fan of the Reacher series, or let's say some superhero movies, The Dark Knight Rises, especially Dark Knight Rises. I think that's very cool, where, Bane in that movie, he isn't necessarily a good guy, but it was always cool. I remember when I was smaller as well, where it was very cool how he was like so big, so like big, right? Huge and strong. And it still is. I'm going to watch, I think, the rest of that movie tonight as well, right after my school is finished. But you like it's very cool. Or I do find a lot of movies and series where there are a bunch of well-trained people, but it isn't necessarily the majority of the roles, right? So, but it can be a sort of, okay, all of these people are not that big, but he is, so we're gonna try and see. Or all of these people are normal size and he's very big, so we're gonna remove him, right? And then we have those not that big sort of physiques. It sounds very, cocky or whatever. I'm not trying to say yeah, you know what I mean. I'm just not trying to be like overconfident or arrogant or something, but you understand what I'm saying, right? That getting too big might not be a good thing if you're going to have a role where a person has mental health issues and an eating disorder that is about not eating enough, right? Then I have to lose a bunch of weight, and that is not something that you are going to do if you're not actually a professional with good amount of credits and portfolio or whatever, and that you do have time to do it as well, because you don't have a good amount of time. So and they have to really trust you. You have to be, I don't know, Christian Bale to actually be huge, and they say, okay, go lose a bunch of weight and you're good, right? So it's just weird, or not weird, but it is a sort of obstacle or a sort of stop point. I still haven't eaten anything from this. I will eat it when I'm finished with the video, but it's a bit it's a dilemma. It is a dilemma. I have to think about it because it has been popping up in my head recently. It isn't this. I'm not sure, because I won't be able to stop training. I just love it so much. I need it so much. And getting results in the gym is a factor in that. Even if it's good or bad, it is still a very important part, hitting that PR or whatever, right? Or as of now it is. That necessarily isn't like that in, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or when I'm a lot older. So I'm not sure, right? But it is sort of like, maybe it isn't too many Norwegian people that are actors that have my physique. I'm not an actor, right? I'm not an actor yet, so I'm not in that category with them. But you understand what I'm saying. Like, people that want to do, let's say, people that want to do acting, that if they have a physique that I may fit in more roles when that is about that, but I'm not sure that is the case, right? So I almost sound a bit too arrogant or overconfident or cocky. I'm not that. I'm not trying to be that at all. It's just, it is an issue, especially when people talk about it and sort of comment on it to me. So it's a dilemma. You know, I could lose more fat, I could lose more weight in that department, but I will as well lose muscle and stuff. I think I wouldn't necessarily have, because it's a bit weird because I'm not too, able, not too able to lose a bunch of weight right now. I would if I had an opportunity where I had to do it. I'm sort of talking like I do have an acting career, but I don't. I just have some things on my portfolio. It isn't necessarily an acting career or anywhere close, but you're sort of trying to figure it out. So yeah, if there was a role, I definitely would lose weight, but I think also like having a movie about the reality of gym, mental health and stuff, I think that would be very cool. And I will try to make sort of short stories or shorts, reels and TikToks about that. So yeah, but yeah, it's just a weird sort of predicament to be in, because I don't want to sort of choose one or the other, but let's just say that I hit the jackpot, I win the lottery, I get an acting role or a important role, and the way goes okay, and I have to lose a bunch of weight. That wouldn't be a problem, because it's sort of like a good and good, right? Acting career goes okay, and if it's for something that builds one of the sort of that goes on the way towards my dream, ambitions, success, or whatever you want to call it, that's okay. If I have to get smaller, that's okay. Not unhealthy though, but smaller. And if I don't, training and getting as big as I am now, a bit bigger maybe, it's okay. But it's hard to do, to be this, right? It's hard to do. It's hard to be like this. There's a lot of actors and stuff that are in a good physique, that need to be in a good physique, but I don't think it's that physique I am. I'm not sure. You can be though, between films and movies and stuff, but it's just, I have been on set where people just come up to me when we talk and he says, "Oh, you're huge, you're big," and I take that as a compliment, but I'm also a bit insecure in that I don't want to be too big, right? That's where the pump cover comes on. But yeah, Jesus Christ, I've been talking for 19 minutes. Jesus. Okay, so I will end this here. It's a talking matter. It's 19 minutes, so it's consider. Oh, I'm like, where's the word? It's definitely a sort of a talking matter, right? So yeah, I'm glad I got some of that out. I will maybe talk about it sooner. I'm not sure. We'll see if it pops up in my head. That's usually why I do this. Whatever is in my mind or head. Hope you had a good day. Hope you will have a good day. I wish you the best. Have a laugh, have a smile, and be kind. And as always, take care. Be happy. Be not happy, but be kind. Take care. Goodbye.